So welcome everybody. This is Heart Song Podcast. It's March 6th, 2025. We are looking at resolving karmic patterns this week, and this is the first week that we're doing it. And since karma is kind of a big topic, so I know we mentioned that, or some people have mentioned that there's no more karma. And that's very true. There's no more karma because we are getting to the point where we can start to take charge of what it is that we want to experience. Whereas before, as human beings, we don't have that much choice. So in order for us to learn, karma is kind of a system that is there for us to balance balance our experiences. So if you have been really good one lifetime, then you will have a different experience next time. But if you have really bad experience one lifetime, then meaning that you've done something really bad, or you've actually killed somebody, for example, then in order for you that killing somebody, that experience to be balanced, then the best way is to experience being killed, for example. Then you would know how it feels on the other end. And then when you have both sides of it, having experienced killing somebody and also having experienced being killed, then your soul can actually make a better choice the next time something happens. Are you still going to kill somebody, or do you still want it to be killed? So that's why karma was I would say, a must, a built-in thing that we all have to experience all sides of the drama, not just always be the good guy or always be the bad guy. Is to You may be considered a really good person one lifetime. Next time, you could be the most terrible person, and you're trying to take advantage of everyone else. So that you can have both sides, and then you can decide what it is that your soul wish to experience. So that's what karma used to do. And now we actually have more choice over what it is that we want to experience. And because the soul is actually stepping up, so it's getting other ways of balancing these karmic resources. That's why we don't necessarily have to have the all sides of the experience. Sometimes we can actually our soul can learn just by listening to how other people have experienced. What from their experience we can learn, so that we don't need to actually go through our own experience. So we now have other ways for us to learn that. So let me see. So that's kind of talks a little bit about why there's karma before, and now karma is kind of an option. That's why we are going to bring in source frequency in order to start to clear and heal the karmic patterns in our lives, because we are now getting to the point where we can access source frequencies. And when we can actually access source frequency ourselves, then we can shift karmic patterns ourselves without actually having to gone through the experience all the different perspective of it in order to resolve something. We can actually just call on source frequency to start to resolve it. So that's what we are talking about. So let's see. So I've mentioned that karma is really about emotional baggages or unresolved energy patterns and experiences from previous life that is still affecting our present life. So that's what we call karma. And what unresolved, so it could be from it could be from previous lives. It could be because of soul contracts. It could be because of trauma. It could be because of negative belief patterns that we have picked up in previous lives that somehow we're still affecting us in this lifetime. It could be past relationships. It could be something that, some actions that either we've done ourselves or other people did to us, and we just could not get over it, cannot forgive that person or forgive ourselves for doing that. Or sometimes it could be because of trauma. So there is so fragmentation. And when there is so fragmentation, because the soul itself, that's part of it, the energy is not flowing. So that's why the energy pattern is unresolvable because of that. And how do we know we have any kind of karmic, I would say, patterns that we are still hanging on to or still affecting us in this lifetime? So some of the symptoms is if there are any behavioral or emotional negative patterns that you seem very hard to get over or break away from. It could be, so that is kind of a telltale sign that you may have some karmic baggage there that is causing that kind of pattern in present life. Or it could be some sort of recurring health issues. For example, if your shoulder is always, maybe one part of the shoulder is always hurting, or some part of your body, it's for no good reason. It seems particularly weaker than the rest of your body, then it could be a sign. Or it could be something that you feel like you have a strong emotional reaction to, then that is another sign that, okay, it may be something that is from a previous lifetime. I remember, just for example, I think I've mentioned that once with you guys already. I don't like being in forest, I would say. Like I wouldn't say in nature. Nature is fine, but in the forest, I have a phobia about being in a forest myself. So I don't like going in the forest. Like even though I like nature, I prefer going to some place like a beach or that kind of like open environment. Like whenever it is that I walk into, I see a forest, lots of trees, I just start to panic. And I really didn't understand, what happened until one time I remembered, I would say, yeah, so one time I actually remembered a past life experience where I was a soldier in the previous life. I don't know how many lifetimes it was. And I was killed in a forest. So that's why I had that experience, I remember that. When I remember that, then I understood, oh, that's why I didn't like being in the forest, because I somehow, for whatever reason, I remembered that how I died that lifetime, and that's why whenever I'm in the forest, I would start to panic because, fear of dying, that would definitely kick in some emotions there. And I didn't know why I felt that until that one time I actually remembered. So now I understand why that happens. I still don't like going to forest, but I no longer have that kind of fear and that the kind of really unknown fear now because I remember it. So I don't feel 100% comfortable, but it's manageable. I can go into a forest without panicking and going crazy. So that is one example of, for myself, how I know that, something happened. It was a karmic experience that I have not somehow released that is creating that, phobia for me. So that's how you would know, even if you don't remember, those are some of the telltale signs that there may be some karmic issues there that somehow, even though you don't consciously know what it is, but it's there in the background that is um, making you feel or act a certain way. And um, usually, once you remember or once you know, then it is much um, easier to get out of that pattern. So far, any questions or comments?
Yeah, how come you cannot resolve that once
What was
there,
that? Sorry?
you cannot resolve that past incident like this lifetime?
Oh, I can resolve it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can let it go, sort of. That's what it is.
Um, it's different already. Just by remembering it's already different. Because before I didn't know. So I know I have that fear, but I don't know why I have that fear. But once you know it, then it's a choice. I can choose to be afraid or not.
Okay, okay, thank you.
And there are other ways. So something like, let's say, so in that case, it was a trauma. So a traumatic death that created that kind of karmic residual that I'm still feeling in this lifetime. Sometimes it is relationship. So when you have certain relationship pattern that has been established with someone, when you meet that person again, and if there are any, I would say, karmic patterns that has not been resolved, then it's more likely than not that you would try to play out that um, relationship again, that dynamic again, so that you can resolve it this time. So it could be relationship patterns.
And what about if you're injured? Like sometimes they say you have pain in this lifetime because you had some injury in the past lifetime. It could be a dagger or something still not removed.
Yeah, that's definitely, it could
That
be
could
that.
be. Yeah.
Mhm.
How do we detect that it is the karmic pattern? If you have pain in a certain area, and then it goes away, and does it come back and go away? It shows that it's pattern.
Um, Usually it is either a part of your body that is naturally, like you're born weak. For example, let's say you're born with a weak stomach, then that could be a sign. But however, it's like usually there are no reasons for it.
Mm-hmm.
No reasons that, let's say, if you had an injury, let's say, or if you have an injury in your stomach, then there is a reason. So yeah, that's why your stomach is particularly weak, because your stomach has been injured before. However, usually if it's karmic, then it's something that a part of your body memory remembers it,
Mm-hmm.
but there is no events in your present life that explains why that part of your body is particularly weak.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Thank you.
yeah. Any other comments, questions before we move on? Not really. Okay. In that case, I'm not going to talk too much about karma. I would rather just go straight into the group healing itself. So just so before we begin that group healing, just think of something, whether it is a part of your body that is particularly weak for no reason, or whether it is a relationship that seems to be playing out. Like usually relationships, you know that there is a karmic pattern. If you see similar patterns several generations, let's say you and your mother and then your mother's mother seem to have, particular or similar pattern, then you know it's something that is generational.
Yes, I do have that example on my father's family, on my mom's family, and even on my husband's family. Like it's same pattern that happens. So I need to spell it out or just think about?
Okay, yep, then good. Then just think of that pattern. Have dedicate the group healing for shifting that pattern. So think of the karmic pattern that you want to shift, and then